40 for Rateable Crest Titans.
Round 5 of the Britpart All-Wheel Drive Safari Championship in association with Pioneer and Whitchurch MOT Centre will be taking place in the picturesque North Devon coast. And after an unplanned break due to the dry conditions posing a fire risk at the previous venue, the crews were back and raring to get back out on that course. First up though would be the matter of the annual Soapbox Race, and with a venue like this full of hills, well, why not? Kids and adults, or should we say big kids, both took their turns to head down the hill in their creations, with the littler kids taking a slightly shorter route and the adults, or indeed the older kids, taking the longer, bumpier route, some a little more dramatic than others. Sunday then would be where the real racing begins, with a good, challenging course set out for our crews. 8 runs today then, and we take a look at how the first 4 of those have gone for our crews. And leading the way would be Dave and Tony Hooper. They were swapping fastest run times, but would take a small advantage by the end of the morning's runs. 21 seconds in the lead by this stage. And they'd be swapping times with this man, Rob Bull. Faster than Hooper at times, slower at others, but ultimately ending the morning in that chasing position. With his co-driver unfortunately not feeling too well, he'd be out this weekend on his own. That would of course save him a bit of weight, but don't tell the co-driver. He now had to try and work out his own way around the course. A puncture on the first run of the day not helping that fight for the lead. It would be great to see Chris coming back out again. The reigning champion not out for a full season, but still mixing it with the top of our leaderboard. He would, in fact, put in a fastest time on the opening run of the day as well, but for now, it will be 3rd place overall, a further 14 seconds back from Bull. Robbing us from a bit of a fight early on, we lose Douglas Devonald Bat early into the event. He retires after run 2. Up until that point, he'd been running as high as 4th place on the leaderboard. Mike Bakewell and Will Howe make a good start to the event. A small overshoot, and they also clip a tree in the wooded section of the course. But believe me, it's still a good start. They end the morning 4th place overall, 2nd in Class 9. For Mick and George Chick, it would be the lead in Class 7. Going well too, with 5th place on the overall times, although a little way off Bakewell up ahead. Meanwhile, this would be the first event back out after a major rebuild for Alan Kirkland and Sean Sabin Farrell. They were understandably cautious through the trees to start the day, as that was where things had gone wrong, pre-rebuild damage. Things were going well though, despite the lack of recent seat time, and that knock to the confidence, we have to say. 6th overall, 2nd in class for now. Alex Freeman makes a good start to the event, 2nd place in Class 7 for now, 7th overall as well. And there's a bit of early attrition at this point on the leaderboard as well. We lose Stuart Williams very early into the event. Prior to that, the times were good enough for 8th place overall. So that frees up the 8th spot for Richard Hayward and Tris White. First time out in the car for the co-driver, and it was going well. They end the morning in that 8th position, as well as 3rd place in Class 8. Leading the way in Class 4 would be Paul Hansen Phillips, enjoying another good start too, and ending the morning of the event 9th place overall. And rounding out the top 10 at this stage would be Team Tennant. Philippa and James Tennant ending the morning's runs with 2nd place in Class 5. This weekend would be Paddy Barker's first time racing with the All-Wheel Drive Club in a long time. To put it into context, 19-year-old son Edward in the co-driver seat wasn't even born last time his dad raced with the AWDC. They start the day well with 11th place overall. No doubt dad regaling son with tails inside that car. 3rd in Class 5. Jordan Shirley and Scott Fairbrother overtook 2 cars on the first run of the day. A mark of intent, clearly on a mission from the start. Sadly for them, they broke a track rod end on run 4, putting them down the order from where they felt they should be running, although they were still leading the way in Class 6. Kieran Jones and Eloise Donovan hadn't raced since the opening round in March. They were expecting to be a little rusty, but that didn't seem to be the case. Second in Class 4 at this stage, as well as 13th place overall. Leighton Dodd will be another lying second in the class, and that would be in Class 6. The time's close overall as well, just 14 seconds between him and Jones up ahead. And it had been a good morning so far for Morgan and Carl Box. They do have a bit of a spin on the opening run of the day though, struggling to get things started, but apart from that, it was going swimmingly. They end the morning 15th place overall, 3rd in Class 7. 4th in that class, and just behind them on the overall leaderboard would be Gary Bully. And when we say just behind, we mean just a single second separating them at this stage in the event. They can almost see them in the mirrors. Guy and Hemi Smith will be putting in some good times as well, improving as the morning went on. They end the morning 4th place in Class 5, 17th overall. Mark Hones would, frustratingly for him, be having a few problems. The car briefly stalling on the opening run of the event, but worse still to come later when he got a maximum on run 3, pushing him down to 18th place on the leaderboard. Margaret Bakewell and Pete Wilson were gaining more confidence in the car. It was clear to see as well, especially with tips from co-driver Pete along the way. 19th place overall for the pair at this stage. For Alex Roussel, it will be 20th position overall. The time's also good enough for 3rd in Class 6 by the midpoint of the event. And Chris and Oakley Wheeler will be enjoying the event this weekend and having fun driving the course. They end the morning with 6th in class as well as 21st overall. Car problems though were holding Victoria Vaughan back. A maximum on the final run of the morning was the difference between a good number of positions on the overall leaderboard. Jonathan Harford and Daniel Drummond, meanwhile, will be sharing the driving this weekend. And this was their first time out in the car for a while as well. The car just finishing a 2-year rebuild by the pair, whose father originally built the car over 20 years ago. They end the morning as the only ones in Class 2, so they take the lead there by default, but with a very good and strong 23rd overall. Third in Class 9 will be where Andy Kent and James Withers would end the morning. Frustratingly for them, however, that is also where they'd end the event, not managing to continue through the afternoon runs. A high-speed spin in the trees didn't help matters on the first run of the day either. For Tony Rooney, it will be 3rd in Class 4. His times were consistent over the morning's runs, ending them with 25th place. And it had been a bad start to the event for Team Liquid, it was fair to say. They crashed the car on the opening run of the day. After that, they'd put in some good times, but the damage had been done, figuratively and literally. They end the morning in 26th overall. Rounding out the results on the leaderboard at this stage will be Nick Fleming. Unfortunately, having an up-and-down morning before eventually retiring and not returning for the afternoon runs. So the morning runs are complete here at round 5 of the all-wheel drive Safari Championship. Here's a look down that leaderboard at how those overall results are shaping up. We're back out onto this steep course for the afternoon runs then, and unfortunately, after a bad start to the event, we would lose Team Liquid. They retire on run 6 of the event. They wouldn't be the only ones either. We lose Jonathan Harford and Daniel Drummond. Frustratingly for the pair, the rear diff failing in the later runs, meaning they were unable to finish the event. And we also lose Chris and Oakley Wheeler as the attrition continues. They retire in run 5. It will be a slightly more dramatic end to the event though for Alex Freeman, rolling the car on the 5th run of the day and calling it a day after that following the damage. For Tony Rooney, there would also be problems. The afternoon proving tough out on this course, the car visibly struggling on the later runs of the event and having to be nursed round just for a finish. He does take 3rd in Class 4 though. The problems weren't over for Victoria Vaughan either. Run 5 of the day will be the 2nd maximum of the day. A real shame, as the times when things were running well were looking splendid. She ends the event 19th place overall, but without the problems, it could have been closer to a top 10 finish, and she will surely be wondering, what if? For Alex Roussel, it will be an 18th place finish, taking 3rd in Class 6 as well with that result. And Richard Hayward and Kelly Thomas would record a finish. On a technicality once again though, a Conrad letting go and putting a hole in the engine later in the day, exactly what you don't need. The car showing good pace up until that point, but still to finish the full mileage on an event yet this season. Despite those problems, they do still take 2nd in Class 8 this weekend. Margaret Bakewell and Pete Wilson were not fans of the steep hills this course had to contend with. The car cutting out regularly, thought to be possibly the carburettor flooding, but they managed to get it started quickly each time, not losing too many seconds and ending the event with 16th overall with a bit of damage limitation. For Kieran Jones and Eloise Donovan, it will be 15th on the leaderboard as well as 2nd in Class 4. But that was also on a technical finish. They actually ended the event in the most dramatic of fashions, rolling down one of the steep hillsides. Thankfully, the pair okay, other than a little sore the next day, and the car not as badly damaged as you might have expected either. For Guy and Hemi Smith, though, it will be 14th place overall. A bad time on the penultimate run of the event would affect their positions a little, but they'd still be happy enough with that finish as well as 3rd in Class 5. Jordan Shirley and Mike Tilney will be struggling with overheating all day, but they get the car to the end of the event crucially with only 1 maximum throughout the day, and they take 13th place overall as well as 2nd in Class 6 for their efforts. The afternoon though would go much better for Mark Hones, no more issues, and a good run sees him taking 12th overall and victory in Class 8 as well. For Gary Bully, there weren't many issues to report, getting through the day in one piece and ending with 11th overall, as well as 3rd in Class 7. As we go through the leaderboard, there's more attrition though. We lose Mike Bakewell and Will Howe, a broken rear wishbone, proving too difficult to repair on the steep hillside. But they did give it a good go. They ran out of time to complete their runs. The wife beating him once again. His words, not ours. On to our top 10 then, and it would be 10th overall for Morgan and Carl Box. Morgan thankful to that car for letting him loose in the car in anger, and the pair coming away with a decent result overall, as well as 2nd in Class 7. For Leighton Dodds, it will be the Class 6 victory. A strong end to the event, and also taking 9th place overall. And it had been a great weekend to chalk off for Paddy and Edward Barker. The Can-Am working well throughout the event. The 4th event in the car for the pair, and they got to the bottom of all of those teething problems. Or so it seemed. 2nd place in Class 5 would also be theirs, and hopefully I haven't put presenters' curse on them for the next round. The event hadn't quite finished giving us a bit of drama though. Dave and Tony Hooper would lose the lead in the afternoon when they get a puncture and have to fight back on the remaining runs. Unfortunately for them, despite a valiant effort, they get so close to the lead, but engine problems in the final miles of the final run would see them have to pull over. No chance of taking that victory. 7th place overall, 1st in Class 9, and some consolation, but not much, it had to be said, given what they were staring at before those problems.
It's been a great course. It's been spot on all day. We had a good race with Rob, especially in the last 2 laps, and we were on par. It was going to be close down to the last lap, but engine just went, no, not today, sir. So yeah, just went bang. It didn't even go bang. It just stopped. So we haven't looked, we haven't done anything. It's game over.
Yeah, any idea what it might be?
Everyone kept saying it was a bit smoky this morning, which it was, but we cleaned out some the breathers, and they were, to be fair, they were blocked. But I don't know. I just don't know whether it's the valleys to do with the surge of the oil. I don't know. She's lazy to start at the moment, so she's probably heat seized at the moment. Hopefully we'll get away with maybe some pistons and some rings and stuff, but it means engine out. Maybe I should go LS3 for more power, I don't know.
It would be another great weekend though for Team Tennant. They end the event 6th overall. The results also showing them taking the Class 5 victory this weekend. And talking of class victories, it would be the win in Class 4 this weekend for Paul Hansen Phillips, as well as a great 5th place overall finish as well. For Mick and George Chick, it would be 4th. They were a couple of minutes back from the podium positions, but they'd be happy enough with that result as they take a convincing win in Class 7 in the process. Alan Kirkland and Sean Sabin Farrell would be glad to be back out, and on one of their favourite events as well. They thought they felt a little rusty after being away for so long, but the times were certainly saying otherwise. The pair taking 3rd place overall. For Chris Cumming, it will be 2nd. The brief, possibly one-off return to the championship this year, proving that the pace was still there to fight for some good results. The drive of a reigning champion, even if it wasn't for victory. But the lack of seat time could certainly have been a valid reason, or at least a factor in that outcome. A good result here in Devon. But that means taking victory will be Rob Bull, pushing hard on the final run of the day on what had been an unexpectedly attrition-filled and gruelling weekend here in Devon. Unaware at the time of the problems for Dave Hooper behind, it wasn't the tidiest of runs, but it did the job, taking the win by a good, solid margin by the end of the event. So as the 5th round of the championship draws to a close, here's a reminder of those final overall results this weekend.
Yeah, we're happy with that. It's the car's new out today, really. We've not tested it. It's behaved itself. The course is rough, but it's dealt with it more than my bike. Yeah, pretty happy, thanks.
Yep. Top result. Like I say, a bit of a rough course, heavy on the back, but thoroughly enjoyed it, as we always do here. And just great to get a position. We didn't really come for that. We came to a shakedown and give it a good run and get used to it. But yeah, great day. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, it was good. It was looking promising after the first lap. Well pleased with that. But Dave and Rob pulled something out the bag on lap 2, and I haven't been able to live with them all day. But I was gifted 2nd on the last lap, unfortunately, because Dave's had problems, I've been told.
So you're happy with the times overall today?
Yes, yeah. I need more power up the hills, basically. We're quite good in the woods. The woods was quite simple this year. Usually make the time up in the woods, but just need more power up the hills.
Yeah, it was a good win for me, yeah, thank you. Didn't want to win like that. Poor Dave, feel sorry for him. It was like very close on the last lap. There's about 5 seconds in it, I think. So I was pushing and so was he. So, but here his engine's gone, hasn't it? Yeah.
So you're pushing on the last lap. Was there anything more you could give, or was that the maximum?
That was about the safest. I could have maybe gone a little bit more, but in the woods I didn't want to take a chance on it. In the field, it's just getting the lines right and all the berms. It's so dug out. If you just slightly go off line, you've lost quite a few seconds on the corners.
Next up for the cruise is another round here in Devon with a trip to Tiverton. And of course, we will be there to bring you all of the action as the championship moves into its final quarter. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
there, 40 for Rateable Crest Titans.